Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Unstoppable Podcast Show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. And today I am joined by the lovely Julie Boyer. I hope I said your second name okay.
Absolutely.
Good, good. So nice to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us. Your business is Wake Up with Gratitude. Is that right?
Absolutely. What that really means is I dream of a world where everyone simply wakes up with gratitude. It's very simple.
It is very simple, but very needed, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
world
Mm-hmm.
right now. So tell me a little bit about your journey then. Have you always done or had a business, sorry, with gratitude involved, or did you come from another place of work and then swap over? What's your journey been with this business?
Well, I've actually been in business for over 13 years now. And when I started my first business, part of what I had to do in the business was a lot of personal development.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nutrition and lifestyle business. I still do that business as well, but the gratitude business evolved from that. I started doing some work way back when The Secret was first released. And, we all, you can kind of poke fun at some of the methods and stuff today that we see in The Secret seem kind of simple and easy. But really, for me, what that started for me was the beginning of a gratitude practice. And, for years, I actually they had a secret gratitude journal, and I wrote in that journal for many, many years. And I really had a fairly solid gratitude practice. And so it really benefited not only myself personally, but it was something I was using in my business. I was helping the people that I worked with and the people that I mentored. I actually helped them to grow in business and grow personally using gratitude practices. So I started to see the benefit of using gratitude sort of every day, not only for your personal life, but in business as well.
Fantastic. I think people don't realize the how crucial how crucial the gratitude part is, where people talk a lot about manifesting and scaling and all these kind of things, but really, in my opinion, it starts with that is the first step, is the gratitude thing. And if you can get that solid, I believe the manifesting side will come.
I agree. And that's sort of where my journey went. So, after doing this for a number of years, doing my gratitude practice, sort of using it loosely in my business, I went to a conference and I heard a gentleman named Sean Aker speak. And he wrote a book called The Happiness Advantage. And he talked about if you wanted to shift your habits in 21 days, if you wanted to change your attitude, one of the strategies you could use would be to do a gratitude journal. And I'm sure many people listening have started a gratitude journal and maybe put it aside or not kept going with it. It's one of those habits that's easy to start, but it's also easy to stop.
Yeah.
But what I loved about what he said, and it's what I implemented right away, is that what you do is when you write in your gratitude journal, you write 3 things that you're grateful for that night. So you specifically write things from that day that happened. And instead of just writing, I'm grateful for my home, I'm grateful for my family, really keep it specific. And then every day is different. So you're changing it up. And then what I did, it's interesting that you mentioned manifesting. So what I added to that was something I had learned from The Secret was you write in the present tense something that you'd like to manifest in your life. So I started writing 3 things I was grateful for that specific day. And then I would write what I call a gratitude intention, whereas you write in the present tense something you'd like to manifest in your life. And so what happened was 12 weeks later, after I started writing a new business goal that had evaded me for years, I'd been working really hard and I just was never achieving this goal. And so I started writing it as though it had already happened. I was giving gratitude for it already happening. And 12 weeks later, I manifested that goal. So I was like, this gratitude stuff is really working. So it was a pretty exciting moment.
Absolutely, and it does work. It does work. It's getting the kind of first things down. So what else would you say would be the easiest way for anyone listening that hasn't, maybe they haven't even started a gratitude journal yet. I loved with the steps that you had said there, where you've got your, you know, your 3 things that you're grateful for in that day, and then an intention. I think that's fantastic. What else or could people do that is pretty simple that they could actually begin to implement in their life to take their gratitude journey forward?
Well, my favorite thing, of course, is why I called my business Wake Up with Gratitude. It's such a simple thing to do, but when you choose to wake up in the morning with gratitude for this gift of another day, it really changes your perspective and your outlook on how you start your day. So a couple of ways you can do that. One is if you're using your phone as an alarm, which we know because the lovely Mel Robbins of the 5-second rule, you know, tells us to keep our phone in a different room and don't use your phone as your alarm. But many of us still do. So what I recommend is actually putting your phone on airplane mode so that you're not actually getting disturbed by your phone. And you change the name of your alarm to I am grateful. So you can actually, on any phone, you can change the name of your alarm to whatever you want. So if your alarm says I am grateful, as soon as you look at your alarm and you try to turn it off, you remember to be grateful. So that's one simple gratitude strategy for the morning. Another thing you can do is you can stick a Post-it note sort of on the side of your bed. So when you turn over, like to maybe turn on the light, you see this Post-it that reminds you to be grateful. So one of the favorite things I like to say is, I'm grateful for this gift of another day and the opportunity to be of service to others. So that's what I would put on my Post-it note. So, and then the last sort of wake up with gratitude strategy you can also use is before you even get out of bed is to have gratitude for a part of your body. So for example, you could just have gratitude for your eyes. So just, you know, thinking about the fact that you can see and you can see colors and your eyes, maybe you need glasses, but you know, with glasses, you can see well. So just taking a moment to just think of one part of your body to be grateful for before you get out of bed.
I love that. I love that. And talk to me a little bit about then, you, obviously this has been a huge part of your life, the gratitude, and I want to know about something that you have maybe overcame, that has been a challenge that you know that you've got through because of your belief and your relationship with gratitude.
Well, what happened was, so I have a daughter, she's now 8 years old. And in 2013, I was pregnant for the second time. And I had a miscarriage, a very traumatic miscarriage at 15 weeks. So at 15 weeks, you're pretty sure you're going to have a baby. So it was really traumatic. And, you know, the whole experience, I had to have sort of emergency surgery and basically, you know, went to the hospital and had surgery and left in like 4 hours time. It was very crazy how it all happened. And that night, I actually wrote in my gratitude journal. And that might seem, you know, almost crazy to actually find gratitude on what was then the worst day of my life. But I remember being grateful, you know, I remember being grateful that my daughter was at daycare, because at that time she only went to daycare part-time. So she wasn't home that day, and this happened at home. You know, I was grateful for emergency services that came to my home and, you know, took me to the hospital. And I just found ways to be grateful on this terrible day. And then what happened was, over the next few weeks, is I realized that it was my gratitude practice that was helping me get through this time. And so that's when I actually started writing my book, 30 Days of Gratitude, the gratitude program that will change your life. And I wrote the book because I said to myself, if I can use my gratitude practice to get through this traumatic experience, then I need to share my message with other people. And so I wrote the book. I actually wrote the book in a month. I call it my therapy because that's kind of how I worked through my emotions, was through writing the book. So I wrote the book in 30 days. We edited it in 30 days. And so it took about 4 months from the time I had the idea for the book to be launched. And we did the Amazon bestseller campaign and everything. And, That was almost 6 years ago, but the book is still relevant today, and it still really helps people to learn different ways to practice gratitude. And what I always say is, the reason I was able to use my gratitude practice that night is because it was already a habit. So I'd created the habit during times when times were good and things were easy, and I was manifesting all these beautiful things. And so that when, tragedy occurred, I was able to use my gratitude practice to help me get through it.
Amazing. Love it. Love it. And I'm so sorry to hear that, but how incredibly inspiring that you've been able to turn that into something that everyone now can get some solace in. It's fantastic. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you, Jen.
Amazing. So talk to me a little bit about what's going on with you going forward. What are you excited about? What is the things that you've got planned for the next year, or beyond?
Well, there's a lot of fun stuff going on. Wake Up with Gratitude is just one of my brands. I've actually really decided to bring all of the different businesses that I do together under one big brand. So Holistic Lifestyle Creators, which is really helping people to create a holistic lifestyle. And for me, the Wake Up with Gratitude part of it is always about building on a foundation of gratitude. So, I work with a lot of different people with, not just in business, but also just from a personal perspective to help them to build that foundation of gratitude. And I've been doing this gratitude work for a number of years now. It's been almost 8 years that I've been really doing this work on gratitude. And what's got me excited as well for this coming year is I've launched a new free experience called the Practical Gratitude Experience. And what I've done is it's actually a 15-day free experience, and I've made a video for every day, and I've taken different challenges basically that we have in our life. So for example, how to use practical gratitude to help with difficult relationships. And so what I teach 2 or 3 different ways that you can use gratitude, really simple ways. Again, very simple to do, easy to do, but easy not to do. Methods on how you can improve your relationships or deal with difficult children, or, how do you use gratitude when you're going through a loss. And what I love about this is, first of all, I'm not charging anything for it because I really just want to help people to practice gratitude first, no matter what they're doing. And second, because I'm giving such actionable things every day, I really feel like it's making an impact already. I just launched it a month ago, and I'm already seeing a really beautiful impact from people who are implementing some of the strategies that they've learned through this experience.
Fantastic. And that's a free resource.
It's free. Yeah, it's 15 days. It's totally free. And this is the part that I wanted to promise, is that there's no program upsell. So I'm not and I'm not funneling you into like any of my coaching programs or my VIP days or anything. It's literally a free experience. And at the end of it, I have a very small ask, which is, do you want to join I have a weekly gratitude love letter that I send out. So that's it. It's not it's hard these days because, of course, everyone has a free experience or a free download this or get this. But I was really inspired. Mel Robbins did a mindset reset challenge, and she just said, like, I'm just giving you this for free, and I'm not selling you anything, and I'm not putting a program behind it. And I was really inspired by that, because sometimes we hesitate to download free stuff because we're like, I'm going to be put in a funnel. I'm going to be getting emails all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's a wonderful way to do business. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted people to be comfortable to like say, yes, I want to receive your stuff for 15 days, right? Without like, worrying that I gave you something for free and then you unsubscribe the next day. Does that make sense?
So yes, I did exactly the same thing with the Life Audit Challenge, and that was basically just a way for people to uncover, what they could do for a business idea. And there was nothing in the back of that. So I think it's really inspiring that, there's no upsell, there's no nothing. It's just, here it is, here's some free content, love it. And hopefully as well they'll actually share it. I mean, that would be lovely if they got,
Yeah.
yeah, if they got so much use, and fantastic knowledge that they then went and shared it with friends and family. That's a lovely way to grow, isn't it?
Yeah, and that is the ask. With every, every time I share a video, I say, if you have a friend or someone who would benefit from this, please, get them to sign up here. That's the ask. Because the point is, just like anything, the more you can get the message out to more people, that's really where I'm at. I look at how gratitude has really been a part of our lives. And, sometimes even, I mean, I have ungrateful moments too. Just like, it's just like, any business person has a real life where you do have moments of difficulty and, where you're not having a good day and my husband's so good at reminding me. He's like, where can you be grateful right now? I'm like, stop it. I was like, I know, just like, let me have a moment. He's like, well, I'm just saying, you are the gratitude guru. So I think it's good to have people in our life that remind us that, that we want to live our message as often as possible and stay in alignment with our message as much as we possibly can. And I think when we build anything on a foundation of gratitude, even as parents, there's a video on parenting and how you can use gratitude with your children. And one of my strategies is just reminding myself, looking at my child, and she is healthy and she's happy. And, when I see other parents whose children are very sick, that really, it's just a reminder, like, I might be frustrated with my child right now, but she is alive and healthy.
100%.
It's easy to take for granted.
Yeah, it is. And there is so much that is very easy to take for granted, isn't there? I mean, things like when your business isn't, maybe something has went wrong, a bit of tech or whatever, and you can feel that frustration, but you're like, but let me just be grateful for the fact that I have this business that is mine, and I'm not having to do a commute. And it's, I know what you mean when you say sometimes you just have to have little moments. So I must admit, I have moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm finding it very hard to find something to be grateful for here. But yeah, having a little reminder. And I think what you said about, sticking some post-it notes up, or a frame just with the word gratitude in it, or I am grateful for, is all these little things that become just little, reminders on automation, if you like, that you can just say, actually, let me just take a moment to breathe here and remember all the reasons why I am grateful to be in this moment. So it's been a real pleasure to speak to you. It always makes me smile talking about things like this, and gratitude and kindness, and yeah, it's lovely to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure, and I hope I inspire some of the listeners to really, just implement one or two things that they've heard today and start their own gratitude practice. That would be beautiful.
And Julie, where can we find you on the online space? Do you have a website, and do you have any other communities or social media that we can come and follow you on?
I do. So basically, I spend a lot of my time if you're looking for me on social, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram are the places I spend the most of my time. And it's just, it's Julie, and then my middle initials, which are CM, like Mary, and then my last name, which is spelled Boyer. So it looks like Boyer, but it's Boyer because I'm French. So that's where you find me on. I mean, my handle's the same on all the socials, but I spend most of my time there. If you're really obsessed with pictures of sunrises on the ocean, you want to follow me on Instagram, because I live on Vancouver Island, which is the west coast of Canada, but I live on an island. And one of my daily gratitude habits is I get up to watch the sunrise on the ocean, and then I share those pictures on Instagram. So
love it.
That brings me joy. And then the practical gratitude experience is really easy to access. So it's a bit.ly, a short link. So it's bit.ly and then /practical-gratitude. So really easy to access. And that takes you right to the experience. And as I said, it's completely free. It's 15 days, short little video every day into your inbox.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. So appreciated it. And anyone that's out there listening, Julie has just told you where to find her. But if you're listening through Podbean, if you scroll down, all the links will also be there and you can follow Julie that way. Please implement some of the things that she was speaking about today. I know I certainly am going to be. We all need more gratitude in our lives. I think you will agree with us. So Julie, again, thank you so much for being here.
It's been a real pleasure, Jen. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Take care. And bye, everyone. I will see you on the next episode.